Does it feel like every part of your life is divided? Every scenario, every environment, your church, your school, your work, your friends, left, right, conservative, liberal, religious, secular. It seems you always have to take a side. This is a conversation between a progressive Christian and a conservative atheist who happen to be great friends. Welcome to Living on Common Ground.
Do you think if we met today, we would still be friends?
I don't know, but we're friends now.
A mob is no less a mob because they're with you.
Man, so what? We won a few games. And y'all fools think that's something? Man, that ain't nothing, y'all. And you know what else? We ain't nothing either. Yeah, we came together in camp. Cool. But then we're right back here and the world tells us that they don't want us to be together. We fall apart like we ain't a damn bit of nothing, man.
So the bus class,
just like logistically,
yeah, it was. Well, not just logistically, technically, it helped me learn how to use a lot of the equipment that we've been using. And I will say that I've gone back and I've listened to old episodes compared to hey, by the way, 25 episodes now with Buzzsprout.
I know I got an email saying, congratulations on 25 episodes of Living on Common Ground. I was like, we've had way more than that.
We have had, but that's since we changed our host. And
we're way cooler than that.
Yeah. And I also was told
2 years, man. 2 years.
2 years of this, and you're still wanting to visit with me.
I keep waiting for you to get tired of my.
This is often the highlight of my week.
That's very.
Yeah.
That's very odd.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Real quick about Buzzsprout. So it's been 25 episodes that we've had with them, and
I don't mean it's odd because I don't like it. I like it too. I meant it's odd.
What I took it as is it was odd that anybody would want to spend that much time with you.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten tired of my ass.
I gotta be fine. I gotta be honest. That's how I feel. Like, I know myself well enough to know, like, he's just being nice.
At some point, you're gonna get tired of this.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, what I like is, like, when you said this, what I pictured was you going like this. Oh, you're gonna get tired of this and
that's
pointing
how
at
I
yourself,
feel. Yeah.
not at the. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
No, it's great. So just real quick, Buzzsprout, we got there because I took that online class and I learned so much about how to record. And so then I went back and I listened to other episodes that we've done over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, anybody that continued to listen through some of that, thank you, because the quality was really bad. But now I've become a quality snob. And so, like, I'll listen to another podcast and I'm like, no, they really need to do better. So anyway,
do you ever feel like sometimes it's kind of nice when the quality's bad? Like, it's not
because it
bad,
makes
like
me feel better about myself.
No, I don't mean like distractingly bad.
Does it feel more like authentic?
That's what I mean. Like, where sometimes it's like, oh, this is like real. Like, it's not produced.
Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually that's dumb. Like, people want to feel like people
it.
Want the edges.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to watch some videos today on YouTube, talking about the topics that I shared with you before we started recording.
Yeah.
The radical flank and
flank policing.
Flank
or something
policing.
like that?
Yeah, it's flank policing. It depends on where you're reading it. I think the technical term is radical flank effect. But I've also come across like flank policing. But if you were talking to, like,
you know how I feel about terms.
You love them.
We don't need any more terms.
I think that the more we can come up with terms, the better we are. So but if you're talking to like a political science guy or woman person, then it's called the radical flank effect. I think that the common term might just be flank policing. That one, and then I also was looking up pluralistic ignorance. But I was trying to all that to say, so I'm looking at videos, and I'm getting a little upset because it sounds like they're recording in a cave.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know Krista's happy about the quality upgrade.
She's
also really happy about the last 5 minutes of us just doing shop talk.
Okay.
She loves it.
Well, some people care. At least I know 2 people that care. They just both happen to be in the room right now.
That's right.
All right. So you mentioned a couple things. So we're getting close to the end of the year. We've got this week's episode, which is the December 11th, and then we have next week, and then on Christmas Day and New Year's Day we'll actually be dropping an episode. And on Christmas Day we're gonna do a little different thing where I'm gonna be telling the Christmas story based on a retelling of the Christmas story with my theological understanding.
Sounds great.
As of right now.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, so it should be great. And then I don't think we've exactly determined what we're going to do for the New Year's Day episode. It could be simply let's look at how disconnected Jeff is from the rest of the world.
Sure, we're just old. That's all that is.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're actually happy birthday. You are now officially, again, 10 years younger than me. So when you say we are just old, you're just being kind.
Well, when you gave me that list of the things that that you didn't
I don't know
have any idea what they were talking about, I knew like 4 of them, 4 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because I'm just 10 years behind you. So my kids are 10 years or just like 5 years behind you.
Yeah. Yeah. Madison now gets called Unc.
It's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, Mad.
She's 21 and her language is not evolving as quickly as her brother's. Good.
That's the better way to be.
She still uses terms, and her brother, my son, is he says things and I have no idea what he's saying.
I can't.
Yeah. So, all right. But you mentioned the posts that I've been doing. I'm trying to start a social media revolution, and so far it's not taking off. But I will say I have seen glimpses of hope. So, is there any particular one that you want to call me out on and tell me why I was wrong?
No, but I like this one. This latest one where you're asking about, or you're giving questions that you ask yourself if you're making a post.
Yeah,
if you're posting something. Now, is this if you're commenting also on other people? Or do you comment very much?
If I do comment, I try to do the same. I try to stick with the same, those same questions I'm asking myself.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, first of all, I would encourage you. Jeffrey Strezoff is my. Do you call it a handle?
I don't know.
If you search for me on social media, it's Jeffrey Strezoff. But most of what I've been trying to do right now is on Facebook. I'm still trying to learn how to use TikTok. And Elena has told me that my videos look like they're being shot by a middle-aged man. And I was like, well, because they are, So she's offered to try to help me. But here's the questions that you're referencing. So I wrote, this was last night while I was writing. And just, I guess for full transparency, I'm writing them in another manuscript I'm working on. And like I told you before we started recording, as I wrote them, I thought, boy, Jeff, these are brilliant. You should share this. So
you fit right in on social media.
Yeah.
I have a brilliant thought. People must hear it.
Right. I'm trying to become more confident because as an introvert, I will often eat my own thoughts.
Well, and I will say, that's better, I think, than how I approach social media, which is why I continue to delete social media, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Threads and all of them, and then re-download them again like a coke fiend.
Mm.
Because I don't do a whole lot of posting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do a whole lot of like, I'm going to make a post. I'm going to post something and then people can comment on it.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, but most of the time I don't. Most of the time what I'm doing is going in as anonymously as possible
Mm-hmm.
and being really biting. Like really biting. So that question that you had.
Yeah. So let's go through the questions and see how well you do.
Yeah.
All right. So I wrote, I'm working on a project and I came up with a list of questions to ask myself before I post something on social media. I wanted to share the questions with you. So the first question, is this building understanding or reinforcing contempt?
Mm-hmm.
Second question, am I trying to help people understand something, or am I signaling to my tribe that I'm one of the good ones? The next is a two-part question. Would I say this to the person's face? And I wanted to make sure that I clarified, not would I have the courage? That's not the question. The question is, would I think it was the right thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
The next question, am I treating people as complex humans or as representatives of enemy tribes? Next, when I share content about, quote, them, am I acknowledging their humanity or reducing them to a caricature? Next, what emotion am I trying to evoke? Understanding, compassion, or outrage, contempt, fear? And then the last question is, what will I get out of posting this? Information sharing? Dopamine hit? Tribal approval? The pleasure of being right? So, I've only been back on social media after like a few year hiatus for, when did I come back on? Like in September, October?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So let's just go on the long side and say 2 months. And I've noticed that people that I really think a lot of,
Name names.
no,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. But people that I think a lot of, and that I think that I have a lot in common with. I don't think that they realize what they're actually doing with their posts, and they'll post things, or they'll repost things, and it's not just information that they're sharing. It is an attack against people who don't think or believe or behave like they do. And sometimes it's hidden as humor.
Sure.
But often it's just unnecessary.
Sure.
So I firmly believe that people should have their opinions and they should be safe to share their opinions about things. But I see that space shrinking.
I don't really know what that means by safe to share their opinions, though.
Really? Or are you just being argumentative?
No, I mean, like when it comes to like social media, like,
Oh,
what do you mean, like, be safe to share their opinions?
well, on social media, I think we feel too safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But what I'm saying is I should be able to,
You want to allow people to share their opinion.
okay, Stoicism. Can I go there?
Sure.
Okay. I don't remember. I think it was Epictetus, but it could be before him. Talks about this idea that we can make observations, right? So like, for example, let's say the example is that you and I voted for a different candidate in the last presidential election. That's probably true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the fact.
Right.
That's the statement.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is we take it one step further and we start to then make moral judgments based on that.
Yeah.
That are not substantiated.
Because that fact is meaningless without the interpretation
it's
of it.
Meaningless, right? And so, but then what we do is we say, well, then, Lucas, because he voted differently than me, either is uninformed or an idiot
or whatever. Yeah, bad person.
Maybe he's amoral, right, or immoral. Maybe he's evil, right? And then it becomes not maybe. It gets to the point where then Lucas is evil, and he wants to see the destruction of democracy in the world.
Right, and those interpretations, those are the only things that matter to us, because if you and I used different brands of toothpaste, that would be the same level of fact as we pressed a button for a different candidate.
Yeah,
it's the same level of fact, except that with the different brands of toothpaste, although you could conceivably start to pull interpretations from it,
sure,
probably we can understand, we can feel
you don't care
how
as much
meaningless,
about fresh breath as I do,
right, or something, right, or in scare quotes, news organizations have been doing this for the last 10 years or so, where your commercial decisions, like your toothpaste, has some sort of indication of where you are on the alt-right pipeline, or the manosphere, or the
okay, let me give it. Here's an example. Someone drives a Subaru.
Yeah, we all know immediately.
I mean, we know everything about them.
Everything,
right?
Yeah, I know what their dog looks like, and I know they like to hike, and I know we all know that they're probably a lesbian. Come on, we all know, right? Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's try another one. How about someone drives a Toyota Tacoma?
Yeah, we know quite a bit. Probably they're
Go ahead.
They're probably trying to overthrow some country in the Middle East.
That's so
number
funny.
one. I don't know why. Why is it always Toyota Tacomas in those videos? Is that what that like?
It's not the Tundra though, and I'd like to point that out because the Tundra people and the Tacoma people are different.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it about the Toyota Tacoma? Is like a smaller version, right?
It's a smaller version.
So it's like you wanted a pickup, but you didn't get the big one.
Yeah, and you're probably a little more sporty, right? Like you do dirt bikes if you drive a Tacoma, right? Tundra people, Tundra people are like, we want to kind of look like farmers, but we live in a suburb.
Yeah, because you got Toyota. You didn't go Ford. You didn't go Chevy.
We didn't, or Dodge.
You didn't go Dodge.
Right? No.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, all that.
Prius. You drive a Prius.
Oh.
We know a ton about you, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
You know what's funny?
Tree hugger.
Here's a fun one. If you drive a Tesla. So if you drove a Tesla 5 years ago, it meant a thing, maybe. But I mean, people would make interpretations, and then it flips in people's minds, right?
Well, one of our friends who drives a Tesla, he was telling me that his son told him, "Oh, we're rich." He's like, "Why would you say that?" Because we drive a Tesla. Right. So immediately, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, because that is something that I always associated as well. Back when we were living in California, we had people who drive, do drop off in their Tesla, and I would think oh yeah, they're doing pretty well.
Well, and if you want to, and if you're driving around in a Cybertruck,
yeah,
I got all kinds of opinions about you, right?
But my point wasn't actually that we do draw these interpretations. My point is if you can find. My point was to agree with your Stoic point.
Yeah,
if you can find some decision you made that seems completely meaningless, then you can tell, kind of in your gut when you think about it, you can tell that, well, voting for a particular candidate, that particular fact pulled out of any kind of context is also just a fact and has nothing associated with it except to the interpretation that then we place upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so all the way back to, what do I mean when I say safe? What I mean is that you have, I think that everyone has a right to have their opinion, right? And I think that everyone should have convictions. By safe, I mean you're not going to be persecuted because of that, right? So, and that's where I brought up the Stoicism stuff. So you have the right to have opinions about who should have been elected, or what we should be doing with the border, or how we should be handling policing in the cities, or like all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't then mean that we need to automatically label you as evil, but we do it.
Sure.
Right. Immediately. But here's the thing that I'm thinking about, and this is why I was looking at this pluralistic ignorance, as I don't think that I think individually we're less likely to do it.
Individually, we're less likely to do what?
To make that leap to evil.
Oh.
Right. I think the reason we do it has to do with the herd.
Yeah,
the group
that we're trying to align with.
Right. So what we do
unconsciously, of course.
Right. So we keep quiet. Right. And when it happens, and then we begin to see that the group does this, and so we quietly just allow it to happen.
Yeah, I have thought about this a lot, and to be honest with myself, about how I do think that when we're thinking of the world and topics and how we feel about the topics, I do think that if you could get all the way down underneath everything, that we have our assumptions about these topics, or our what seems right to us about any topic, that has more to do with how we feel about somebody who in our mind would think that thing about it, right? Like we just kind of don't like it. Okay, so Chris and I talked about how, like, it seems like a lot of people are really, when they're arguing against a topic, what they're doing is they're saying, I'm mad at my dad, or I'm mad at my mom.
Yeah, you've said that to me before. Like, I've said something, you said, what I hear you saying is my mom, da, 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 da.
Yeah. And I don't.
And then I get highly offended.
Good.
And in my mind, I make a moral judgment about you.
Good. You should. And I don't mean that like other people do that and I don't, or we have to try to get away from.
Right.
I think that's an inevitable thing. I think that when I'm saying things like, I don't know, like get married young and have a bunch of kids, like have a normal life, don't try to follow your dreams or whatever, you know what I mean? Like tongue in cheek, but you know what I mean?
That actually sounds pretty close to what I've heard you say before.
Pretty close, yeah. It's partly because like I'm kind of associating myself with or I'm mad at my mom. Like the little kid inside me is mad at my mom and wants you to know that I'm not like her. Right? I'm not saying that she is.
Right.
I'm saying like it's the caricature, right, of the chaotic of whatever that I have of my mom. And she gets a lot of the brunt. My dad just left. So
sure.
She gets a lot of the brunt of my talking because she was around.
Right.
So that's probably unfair. But my point being that like when I say stuff like that and I have these kind of like positions, I can frame them. I frame them in a lot of grounded kind of logical argument. But I think it's more like I just kind of like those people, that I want to associate with those people that remind me more of my grandparents' people. You know what I mean? Like, so that's probably why it kind of seems right to me. You know, it's not really like an argument. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we find, so again, I've been doing a lot of research on group mentality, how, you know, the impact of evolution has had on this and all that kind of stuff. Here's where I'm struggling a bit, is because you're adding another layer to me, to thinking about all of this. And I was telling Denise the other day that I'm a promiscuous synthesizer.
You and your terms. What does this mean?
Well,
I get
figure it out.
I get it. Yeah, I got that. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So then tell me, what do I mean? And I'll tell you if you're right.
You're constantly trying to blend everyone's kind of ideology, thought processes into a new one.
Yeah.
You're synthesizing everyone.
I'm taking from everything that I see as related.
Yeah, you won't
and
stay
trying
pure.
to synthesize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a promiscuous synthesizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Denise was like, could you come up with a better word? And I was like, no, I intentionally chose that one.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
that. Promiscuous is a fun word to say, though, too.
Isn't it?
It's a cool word
And it
to
brings
say.
up all kinds of images.
Yeah, I
Right?
like it. No, I like it. Denise is wrong. Denise, you're wrong.
Thank you. So yeah, where was I going with this? Oh, so yeah, it has to do with like tribalism and finding comfort and safety in your community, and we will actually give up our own moral. We will betray our own morality in order to remain connected to the community.
Because I would add to that and say morality really is the codification of the things that allow you to remain within the community. That's what I really think morality is.
So it begins to shape based on, it's shaped by your community.
Yeah, and it's
right.
It's constantly being reshaped.
Yeah.
To your point, here's a great kind of example of like how you'll give up maybe something that's better or will work for the sake of being in the tribe. This is one of my favorite examples because I think that it's a favorite example to show this mentality, but also I think if you can keep it in your mind and maybe push against this a little bit, it can be kind of a superpower for you if you want to find success in some field. And that is, and I'm going to butcher this, but there's a basketball player that I think it was in the 70s. My grandfather used to always tell me, that there's no reason to miss a free throw in basketball. The only reason you miss a free throw is because you haven't practiced enough. Because there's nobody blocking you, there's nobody defending. So you should never miss a free throw. But, and I'm going to get these numbers wrong, but the principle is the same. A really good free throw percentage is something like, call it 75%, something like that. Okay. If you're really at the top of your game. Well, there was this guy in the 70s who would do his free throws underhanded. And his percentage was something like 92% or something like that. It was way above the top. But nobody started doing free throws underhanded.
No, because you look ridiculous. And we would far rather look normal to our group than do the thing that we ostensibly say we want to succeed at. And I think the same thing I think that's relatable to what you're talking about. I think that's a great example. Yeah. So I was just looking something up real quick because I mentioned that I am trying to create a social media revolution. All right. So, I've been posting since it looks like it's the end of October. I just scrolled all the way back.
Okay.
All right. So on a very active post for me has about 21 likes. That's it. Right. And the most I ever got was 32 comments.
Quite a bit of comments
on one. Okay. So now another person that I know, I'm not going to read their post, but he again.
It's a he. Everyone start looking.
I agree with his, like, I just think he and I have a lot more in common than we do not in common. And I think that his intentions are, I believe that his intentions are good. His most recent post, in my opinion, is more divisive. And it's just kind of like a, hey, look at me, tribe, I'm part of you. All right. And it was posted 4 hours ago. 1.3 thousand likes, 35 comments, 564 shares. I think that's telling that we would much rather the dopamine hit is more important to us.
Sure.
Than doing the hard work of trying to trying to create common ground. Lucas, is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have no place to throw stones because.
But you're on a podcast called Living on Common Ground.
Yeah, but all I do this is what I'm saying. I'm like a coke addict. I have to keep deleting the apps off my phone because I don't even post. What I do is go in and scroll and go, oh, come on. Ugh, come on. And then when I do make comments, they're all biting
Mm-hmm.
comments. And it's not good.
Mm.
And so then I delete it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get bored and I look for other things to do the same thing with. But it's better. I think it's always better to try to do a thing, even if you do it poorly, than to not try.
Yeah,
I think that's always better.
Well, that's the thing too. All of this about the again, the reason uncertainty is so important to me is because I believe that certainty is what leads to fundamentalism. Fundamentalism is what leads to division, and ends up creating hate and war and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not even talking about like shooting at each other. I'm just talking about verbal volleys that we see, right?
Yeah, the emotional wars that happen within families
all the time. And to me, so if I could, I'm just trying to put a crack in certainty. That being said, I have to work at it myself. Even though I'm preaching on this, and I mean, not like preaching on Sunday morning. Well, I do on Sunday mornings too, but like this is like become my stump, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing in a long time because I think it's so important. But I can very easily, drop right into getting that. I'm going to say dopamine again because I think it's the same thing that happens when you're in a room with people and they all agree with you. I can easily fall into that. I can be in a room and all of a sudden they start taking shots at maybe a political figure, and I can fall right into it again. And I know that the times that I've tried to call us out on it, it's really uncomfortable.
So here's a fun little aspect because I think you're absolutely right. And
but I just say that because you said you have to work, like you better to work at it than to not. Like however you said that. That's what made me think of that.
It is better. It is better to do it, even if it's done poorly. It's always better to try.
Especially if it's an attempt to try to make yourself a better person.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're trying to.
John Wesley used to say, I like what I'm doing a lot more than what you're not.
I like what I'm doing
a lot more than what you're not. Right. So like whenever somebody would come up and tell him what he should be doing, he would always say, well, I like what I'm doing a lot more than what you're not. Because a lot of times people tell you what you should be doing. They're not doing it themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that I have another kind of boomerang thing that happens for me where I get a self-satisfied kind of elitist. I don't know if it's dopamine or not, but whatever. In my psyche, it makes me feel pride to think of myself always as the one who's different from the rest. I'm not like the other girls, right? I'm in a group like that and I'm like making a comment different. You know what I mean? Like that. And it's not the same, but it's a similar thing where I am falling into, in that respect, I'm falling into, a self-serving image that I'm trying to create for myself, which isn't good either.
So by the way, just real quick, next time you delete all of your social media accounts and you're looking for something else to do to waste your time, you can go to my Substack.
Okay.
Yeah. And leave comments.
Okay.
So
I'll do that.
All right. I appreciate it.
I subscribe.
Yeah, you do. But I can look at, I know you're not a creator on Substack, but you are on Substack.
Definitely not a creator.
Did you know, and I'm sorry, I'm digressing here, but did you know that I can look to see who is the most engaging with my stuff?
Oh, really?
So let's see. I'm going to look up Lucas real quick.
Oh, no.
Let's see.
I have not engaged at all.
I don't even see you. Gosh almighty. I'm making moral judgments about you right now.
You should.
I don't even see you on here, but I
know.
know that you're... Hold on, load more. There we go. I just didn't realize it didn't show everybody. No, hey, you're not too bad. At least you must open the email and then delete them.
I don't delete them. I just open it. I open it.
Okay, good. Yeah, because you got 4 out of 5 stars. All right. So let me switch for a second. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. Talking about this idea of policing borders.
Okay.
All right. So a couple things. And I think this might be a post that I'm going to make on social media tonight.
Okay.
So I wrote this down. Think about the last time someone in your group was cast out.
Okay.
Not because they joined the other side, but because they questioned one belief, asked maybe one uncomfortable question, showed 90% agreement instead of 100%. Right? Now, my thing is that's not community building. That's purity testing. And it always turns inward before it turns outward. And then the question is, are you building bridges or policing borders?
Well, we talked about this last week off the air also, which is that the whole turning inwards before it turns outwards. In my experience and my study, this might not always be the case, but it seems like it almost always only turns inward, that it continues to eat itself, that kind of thing, the struggle sessions, the purity test, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Because what we were talking about last week, which is that you have your group and then you create your enemy. You know who your enemy is that's outside of the group, except you never actually interact with that person. What you do is you interact with the people inside the group and they serve as proxies for that enemy that's outside of the group. And so when you're talking about that, like where somebody comes up, you're having this conversation and somebody says something that maybe feels like it's like 3% off of what they should be saying, at least in your mind at that point, then you can treat that person who you have access to as the enemy. You can get the cathartic release of what you wanted to say to the enemy, but you never actually talk to the enemy. You never actually go and speak to that person. You never see that person.
You blast at him on social media now.
Maybe you blast at him in social media. Maybe you just think you know who that person is out there, but you have in your mind, like you can think about this, like you might be a group of people who know, this will be an easy one, who know that racism is wrong and that you all are not racist.
Sure.
Okay. But you know who the racists are, right? The racists are whoever, you're whatever. Well, when you're talking inside that group, I've seen this over and over again. You don't very rarely do actually talk to a person who is on the outside, who's the racist. And they say the racist thing and you go, you shouldn't say that racist thing. What happens is you're talking to your in-group and somebody says something that is like kind of, it's not even off color. It's just, you worded it in a way that seems, what's the word that we use? Problematic, right? And so then now you can jump on that person as the proxy for the racist, right? And the same thing happens, I mean, I use that one because that's easy, but the same thing happens in like right-wing groups as well, right? Where like you might know that, I don't know, like it might be a socialist thing or whatever, right? And so somebody says something that's just a little bit off of.
I've got a real life example.
Okay.
Because I've been researching.
Yeah.
Right. So I looked up the environmental movement. I think this is a great example of what we're talking about. It says, so in the late 1960s, something remarkable happened in America. People started noticing that rivers were catching fire. That was Cuyahoga River, by the way, my hometown. That smog was so thick in some cities you couldn't see across the street. That birds were dying and no one seemed to know why. And then Rachel Carson published Silent Spring. What happened next wasn't a political movement in the way we understand that term today. It was more like a collective awakening. Suddenly, people from radically different worlds found themselves aligned around a simple shared concern. The planet was in trouble. Scientists stood beside bird watchers. College students organized teach-ins with suburban parents, hunters and fishers, people who spent their lives in wild places found themselves working alongside urban activists who'd never held a fishing rod. Republican lawmakers sponsored environmental legislation alongside Democrats. Corporate executives who supported regulatory reform attended the same rallies as union members and countercultural activists. No one was checking anyone's credentials. No one was demanding ideological purity tests. There was no litmus tests about whether you were, quote, really committed to the cause. What held this improbable coalition together wasn't agreement about tactics or philosophy. It was a visceral recognition that the environment mattered to everyone, that polluted water didn't care about your political affiliation, that smog didn't ask whether you were progressive or conservative before filling your lungs. Earth Day 1970 became the largest civic event in American history at that point. 20 million Americans, roughly 10% of the entire U.S. population, participated. School children wrote letters to Congress alongside Nobel Prize-winning scientists. Clergy spoke at rallies with atheist activists. People who disagreed profoundly about Vietnam, civil rights, and economic policy found themselves shoulder to shoulder picking up trash along highways. The movement's cohesion flowed from shared curiosity and concern rather than doctrinal clarity. People felt free to experiment, to discuss, to disagree without assuming the worst of one another. They were connected by relational and practical commitments rather than rigid ideological lines. This was a community before division, before certainty, before the fracturing that would come later, because of course it didn't last. Questions of strategy hardened into competing camps. Identity policies entered the conversation. Radical environmentalists began to view mainstream groups as sellouts. Policy-focused organizations dismissed direct action activists as extreme. The label environmentalist itself became contested territory. Who got to claim it? What it meant? What you had to believe to wear it. The movement that had once welcomed corporate executives and anarchists to the same teach-ins split into factions that sometimes viewed one another as rivals rather than allies. The issues didn't disappear. They actually got worse. But now you couldn't talk about them without first declaring what kind of environmentalist you were. But for a brief, shining moment, there was just a community of humans who cared about rivers and birds and breathable air, who brought their different perspectives, farmers and scientists, business people and hippies, conservatives and radicals, and worked together because the problem was bigger than any single viewpoint could solve. The early environmental coalition reminds us of something crucial. Communities often flourish most when curiosity is valued over certainty and when cooperation is allowed to precede coherence. We don't need to agree on everything to work together. We just need to see each other as humans rather than avatars of positions we oppose. That's what I wrote.
That's what you wrote?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's that in?
It's in the project I'm working on right now.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks. Yeah, it's called, I've got an outline. I'd be more happy to show you my outline. But again, I'm working on writing because I now have time to be creative and write. So I'm calling it The Certainty Trap.
Mm-hmm.
And then the subtitle is How Letting Go of Being Right Can Save Our Communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole like having to declare yourself a particular type
Mm-hmm.
of environmentalists.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens in a lot of positions.
It keeps getting worse.
Yeah, and I do think of it kind of as like a almost like a elemental principle that these things kind of like they grow and smash into other ones, and then they separate out, and then they become something else, and then
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the term feminism has had the same a very similar thing. Whereas today, you really have to. I feel
Mm-hmm.
the need to be like, but not that kind.
Yeah.
Like when I was in college, I was very clear. Like, yes, obviously, I'm a feminist because I want everyone to be treated equally.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, but not that kind.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have this feeling of like, I don't. There are a lot of things that have now been attached to that term that I don't want you thinking of me when I say that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's similar with all of these isms.
So here's my
environmentalist.
My last thought.
Because I like to think of myself as an environmentalist, that I care about the environment, but I certainly am not a whole bunch of things that get added on to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like that's
care
a
about
difficulty.
I mean, obviously I care about the environment. I think we all should. Okay. So, shoot.
No, I like that. I think that's an interesting picture that you paint.
Well, I'm trying. All right. So I had one last thought and it's gone. So I won't have any more thoughts for the day.
Well, we'll have it next week.
Yeah. What was my thought? Shoot. Anyway, did we have, I think it was the whole thing common ground?
I think our common ground is we're very impressed with ourselves that we've been doing this for 2 years and we're still improving.
That was not my takeaway, but now that you mention it, I am very impressed by your willingness to continue to sit and talk with me.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know if I'll ever credit either you or Krista or Caroline or Bucky or so many of you in any of my writings that I'm doing right now. But you do know that if it wasn't for all of you, none of this writing would be getting done. Because you all force me to continue to think. I mean, I continue to think anyway. In fact, I will share this one last thing just because it made me smile today. Talking about being a promiscuous synthesizer. So a friend of mine who I haven't seen in probably 11 years, she commented on one of my posts.
I bet I know which comment it is.
Which one do you think it is?
The one that's talking about the aha moment.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Wasn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been this person for a long time, but I appreciate all of you who continue to push me to continue to think and continue to give me different perspectives on stuff. Yeah. So just because I am self-serving, I want to read it. You, my friend, are a complex man of God with many complex thoughts, always in search of answers. Oftentimes I would wonder where you were taking us in your sermons. Then at the close, there was always this aha moment that brought it all together. I think she meant a gift from God. Have a great day, kind man. That last statement was the highest praise I think I can get.
I think that's a
kind man.
I think that's a cool. That was a cool comment, and I would agree. I think it's I think you're always trying to search for the truth and search for answers and be open.
Appreciate that.
It's very important.
And that might be our common ground.
Yeah, that's our general common ground anyway.
I think so. All right. Have a wonderful birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Living on Common Ground. Please follow wherever you listen to your podcasts and share it with your friends. You can also find a link to our social in the description. The more people we have living on common ground, the better the world will be.